Say hello to my little friend. This is an Encore RV trailer, and it is a 12RK XT. Now, XT stands for X-Trek, which, you know, I don't know, maybe it's extra trek-worthy or something. Let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about this really cool little trailer, and granted it's a small format, which means that it's pretty nimble and can go to some pretty tight places. Well, where would that be? Well, typically this trailer will be best suited to some off the pavement activities, maybe mild off-roading, off-grid camping, maybe some BLM land or something like that. Or you just need something that you can camp easily in as many times as you want during the year so you can pursue other activities like fishing or something like that. Maybe it's a perfect scouting trailer if you're into hanging out with, you know, your kids or something weird like that. I don't know. It's a great little trailer. It fits in your garage. You can hide it from the HOA because they can't see it behind your fence and they can't see you in your garage, but we should look at it, and let's start on the inside. Now, we've had a little bit of rain come through just recently here in Katy, Texas, so I kicked my boots off. But let's explore this space. Obviously, I'm 6'5" in my shoes when I'm standing, but this is not a standing trailer. This really is a very well-built, sturdy kind of habitat on wheels with a lot of headroom if you're sitting. And that's where I'm set to do right now. This is, at the moment, kind of a lounging sofa, which is quite comfortable and protected from the weather as I need it to be. But it lays out flat to become basically a queen-size bed for obviously sleeping. Let's explore the space a little bit more. I'm sitting beside windows that open up awning style for airflow. There is a vent in the roof. Now, right now, it's just a vent. You just crank it open manually or crank it down manually. I have my suspicions that you could easily add a 12-volt fan of your choosing right there to help pull air in through those windows or push air out, your choice. You have on the roof also safety feature, smoke detector, and then this right here. Now, this is a big win in my book, particularly in Central and South Texas, where I spend a lot of my time. This air conditioner is not massive, but for this small a space, I would say it's easily overkill. So you're going to be quite cool in here. That's not all. There is a furnace on this unit. So in the cooler climates, in the cooler time of year, colder even, there's a ducted furnace that has outlets right up in front of me. So my comfort's pretty well taken care of. These Encore trailers are framed in all aluminum. In fact, one of their calling cards at Encore RV is they don't use wood in their builds. So just imagine what that means. There's not wood to rot in these trailers. Now, right over here, I do have some storage run across the back. Again, not wood. This is powder-coated metal. My suspicion is aluminum, and they have these little holes in it so you can easily put bungee cords to hold your stuff in. You have USB power ports, charging ports on both sides, and residential plug. Now, the plugs, do remember that they're going to only work if you have shore power coming in or generator power coming in, and this trailer does not have an inverter on board. So if you wanted this outlet to work when you're unplugged and off of battery power, you're going to have to bring in your own inverter system. Not that hard to do, particularly if you work with an RV service center, and that would allow that to happen. So there you go. Your control for the furnace is on that far corner over there, and your controls for the air conditioners here with your ability to move the air around to exactly where and how you need it. I'm going to ask you to follow me around to the front. Now that we're in the front, I have your WFCO, or sometimes called WIFCO. Well, let's call it a power center, and it's where your breakers and fuses are. So fuses obviously for your 12-volt system, breakers for your larger draw units like your air conditioner and whatnot. Breakers run off of shore power. In here, I have this nice cubby. It's about 2 feet deep and probably about 2 feet tall. really great space, but underneath, I actually have access to that dometic heater down there. So again, something to keep you comfortable. I would not use that space for storage because I want to make sure that that has what it needs to not get banged around or anything like that. Let's look at this wall right here. This is pretty easy to understand. We have switches for, well, that's not a switch. We have switches for 12-volt systems, particularly your lights, indoor and outdoor. And then this is a 2-port USB charge area right there. I have a master battery disconnect right here. Let's see if I can get that, show that to you. It's a key style and it latches in. Now, if you are putting your trailer in storage and you want to keep any phantom draws from coming off of your battery, that's what you would do. You would just twist this, remove it, and you'll know that your battery is disconnected from that circuit. To reconnect it, you just make sure that's in and you're good to go. Now, if I were running off of just battery right now, which you might think that we were, then that would have shut everything off. But I do have an external power supply plugged in outside, so little magic of videography right there. 120 or 110 volt outlets, residential style, and then an inlet for your satellite or park cable if you find yourself in a situation where you have it or you bring it with you. Now down here, obviously storage that you can see all the way across here, about 2 feet deep again. It does curve on the front, and we have, this is where your battery will live. It has a spot to lock down one battery in here, all good and well, but you do have space if you want to add more. Other than that, a little bit of duct work for that heater, some incidentals that come with the trailer, a tire monitoring system, the power cord for your trailer, a coily spray hose for outside spray port, your crank for your stability jacks, and that's pretty much all that I see in here. It would be great for storage, or I would probably consider adding a little bit more battery power and extend some of my stay in some cool places, maybe up in the mountains or what have you, like that. Now, while I'm in here, I do want to mention that this is an easy environment to work with, easy to clean, easy to wipe down, good surfaces, but I've always appreciated having this texture on the wall. Now, you might not think that that's great. First off, it is pretty easy to clean, but for me, in these small spaces, if it is just a smooth surface and very reflective from a sound standpoint, it can get kind of reverbery, and that's not a good feeling. It doesn't feel tight, solid, and even comfortable to me. But once you add most of these walls with that carpeting, then it really calms down those sound reflections, and it feels so much better in here, particularly if I have to be in it for more than just a rest overnight, but maybe in inclement weather. So that's something I like about this space. If you do want to turn off an individual light, you can. So if one is just right over your head and it'll bother you, just do that. Obviously, the switches can turn the whole bank on and off. That's about it in here. Let's go outside. Okay, we're on the outside of this really cool trailer, and you noticed I had to give that door a little bit of a tug because there's a magnetic hold open, which is great if you're, in a breezy situation. You want those doors open and you don't want them slamming on you. These are good and thick doors. Look at that. That's about, I would say, 2 inches thick, and on the inside is block foam, so it is extremely good from an R value standpoint. Do I know the exact value? No, I don't, but it is closed cell block foam. It's thick, and the seals or the gaskets around all these doors are very dense, thick, pliable, so I'm pretty confident in this. Let's see how it closes. Solid. Asdel, you've probably heard of it. If you've been looking at RVs for very long, it is a name brand of a product that is really impervious to water, and so it's a fantastic layer to have sandwiched into these walls for your protection. Here's that awning. I have a few stickers to show you on this 12 Arcade. Look at this, 2-year transferable bumper to bumper warranty, 5-year transferable structural warranty, and 100% wood-free construction. Pretty bold statements, Encore RV, but I like it. So, rolling back here, off-road tires, I think that serves two purposes. I mean, there's first kind of cool is it gives you a little bit more ground clearance, and it might give your trailer a little bit more protection from lateral movements or slides depending on where you're rumbling around outdoors. But the second kind of cool is simply that it looks cool. It looks nice, okay? Over here is a table. It does come off. It's not very heavy. Again, no wood. And it is designed to hold a griddle that does come with this unit. Now, the griddle that came with this trailer is not with this trailer at the moment, so I couldn't display it, but it is of the same type as a Blackstone or Greystone or Suburban griddle. It fits right here, and the connection point feeds right through here to a little port underneath. So a quick connect gas port ready to go. I'm gonna bring you around here, and we're gonna look at what is, to my eyes, a very usable space. Obviously, it's clean. It's a bit of a Spartan situation because you just have a hot, cold, wand style sink here. Not the largest, but large enough, and not much else, right? You would think. But this space is designed to accept a refrigerator. You can put a lower one, or you can put one of the larger. I've seen Everchill and Furrion make perfect size refrigerators for that space. And there's a power port for it right down there. On the back wall, I see that you can check the levels of your fresh tank. You can turn on your water pump. You have a GFCI protected outlet right here, and light switches. Pretty handy. A little prep space, bottle opener, everything again, no wood yet again. So this is all CNC cut, and make of it what you will. The space is wide open and available to you. Now again, these doors are held open by struts, good thick doors, fantastic seals, and this one has a handle here because it'll be the second one you open or the first one you shut. There we go. Here we go. And it is lockable, of course. Up on top, we have a very sturdy, fantastic roof rack. You can easily design, a system to carry your kayaks, your canoes, your bicycles. A rooftop tent works great on this type of trailer, so keep that in mind if you need to have expanded space for whoever you're traveling with. Time to go check out this other side. So, on this side, I have another sticker I want to point out to you. This is your water inlet, whether you're going to be adding water to the freshwater tank or using city water supply behind this locked door. But look at this number here, 43 gallons of fresh water on a small trailer like this. That is fantastic. So there's a little checkbox. You have water for your trips. If you want to use that spray port, there is, and you're gonna need to have your water pump turned on in the back here. So there you are. Again, this is very sturdy. I am confident that if I needed to, I could use that to get up here and be swell. Here's your spare tire. Now, I did mention when I was in there were 2 switches on the inside. Some of those switches on that one bank operated the lights on the inside, but then there were 2 together. And I said those for outdoor lights. Well, that actually powered these 12-volt power ports, which are accessory ports, and they are easy to use. Now, anything that takes this SAE style plug, a 12-volt device takes that style plug, you plug it in there, flip that switch, and you have power. Let's say you have a little tire pump that runs off of that style plug. You're good to go. Let's say you have a spotlight that you want to mount up here. You're good to go. Your options are quite wide, so if you have a favorite device that is 12 volt and runs off an SAE style plug and it can be mounted or just used about, Encore thought of you with that as well. Down here, I have obviously the inlet for your shore power, and again, this is just our system for doing these videos, so pay no attention to this guy. I have an inlet right here for an off-board solar panel, maybe one of those folding suitcase or solar blankets. Down here, the inlet for that park cable or a satellite system that you might bring with you. And this is the outlet for your furnace. I would not block that. I would check that from time to time to make sure that you don't have something like spiders or mud daubers getting in there, because for some reason, they like spaces just like that on campers. You might put a screen that is readily available over that to protect you from that situation. Let's check out the tongue. Now that we're on the front of the trailer, you're gonna notice again, it's a good, clean looking build. No, it is not that tall, but that means it can go some pretty tight places. Let's say you're gonna be hauling with a more nimble vehicle in the format of a four-wheeler, a Jeep or something along those lines. Just make sure that your tow vehicle is capable. This thing definitely wants to go. So it is a simple setup. This is a single propane tank, obviously easy access right here. 2-inch ball. Now I see that this coupler is actually bolted on. I have no problem with that. And what it allows me to do is, if I want to swap this out for a 360-degree style rotating hitch, they make them in a bolt-on configuration. They'll go right here. So several name brand ones are out there, and you have the option at your discretion to change that out. Over here, I like this style of tongue jack and wheel because it is a little bit faster. I don't have to fully crank the tongue jack up and fully crank it down, remove a foot or remove a wheel. No, I simply, once I'm connected, crank it enough to get some sway, pull the lever, twist it out of the way, it locks in place, and then go through my proper connections with the chains and the breakaway cable, and we're good to go. Over here, 7-pin plug, pretty standard, and they do provide a little holder right there for you to keep water and dirt and grime from getting in there. Let's wrap this up. So once again, I do like the way these Encore RVs are put together. They aren't for everybody. They are very nimble, small format, go to crazy places, crazy destinations kind of thing. I do like to camp simply, so this works really well for my interests. It might work for you and for your family as well. If it doesn't, no problem. We've got other really cool options. But today, this 12 RK XT is something really cool to look at. It's been a pleasure showing it to you, and we'll see you next time.